Can you tell how you actually started?
Oh man, it's probably more time than we have.
In a nutshell,
In a
sorry.
nutshell, it was the right place at the right time. And what I used to call the art of hanging around. I was hanging around. I grew up here, and I spent my first year in the Philippines was in Baler, Quezon. I went to the public school. I was 8 years old, and then just turning 9. And then I came back down to Manila and entered the international school in Makati, and I went there and I graduated high school there. Played basketball all the way through. Went to college in the States. I played basketball at Menlo College, a small school in California, and then I transferred to George Washington and walked on there, and then I came back. And after working a year in college in San Francisco, I was working for a bank.
For a
of
bank?
all things.
Okay.
Yeah, I was an executive trainee at a Crocker National Bank, and I remember being miserable. And I remember calling my mom, who was here, and she was an empty nester by that time, and I said, "Mom, I want to come home." Yeah. And she said, "By all means, come on home." She would love to have, because she lived all the way in the Philippines, and all of her kids are in the U.S.
Yeah.
So she would love to have one of her kids come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I came back and did various things. Ran a meat business, and when I was here, and did all kinds of. You ran a chicken farm. I ran a meat business. I coached a team. I coached the international school for a year.
Yeah.
Right before I coached Alaska, and we played a game. My first game was against Clark Air Base, and they had, they were a school of like 3,000 kids. We were a school of like 280.
Yeah.
And all their kids were servicemen, and the whole team was almost African American. And so we went up there to play them in our first game. And we went into halftime in our first game. We were down by 34 points. It's my first game I ever coached. I was down by 34 points at halftime. Those poor kids. I remember walking in that locker room. I had this board, I took the board and I threw it across the room. I almost hit a kid in the head. I took down one of those big lockers and I pulled it down on the ground. And poor kids. And these kids were like, and I was just imitating my college coach. He was like that. No turnaround for me. We ended up losing by like 38, I think it was, my first game. But the next day we played the same team, and at the end of the first quarter we were winning 19-4. The exact same team, we were winning 19-4. But then they beat us by like 15. Yeah, we still got beat. But the only story is that they had like a 57-game winning streak, and we beat them by 2 points at IS.
Wow.
And knocked their 57-game winning streak away.
Wow.
And that was our claim to fame. Mr. Retention came to watch one of our games, and I think that's when he decided that's when he wanted me to coach. It wasn't against that team, but against another team. I knew him in high school, and I just we started to hang around. He started inviting me to games, and he got me an interview with Vintage at that time.
Okay.
And I did broadcasting at Vintage for about a year. And then slowly but surely just got involved more closely with the PBA. And then everything else was self-taught. I've never been an assistant coach in my career.
Oh, wow.